Morning everyone, whether you're watching, listening or reading this episode, welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we are on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by run vlogging for consecutive days the distance of one lap around the world, a staggering 40,075 kilometres, and we're going to do a minimum of 5 kilometres a day. So pretty epic. So it is, those of you who are regulars will know I cover my passions, which are all things entrepreneurship and running. And as you can see today, it's a beautiful day, not too breezy, pretty nice morning. And today's topic is Sunday Run Day, where we discuss all things running. So we're going to cover a ultra marathon called the Hope Alive Tour. So as always, if you like this episode, give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So the Hope Alive Tour, it's an ultra marathon. It's a team-based ultra marathon really, and it's run over three and a bit days of running and of consecutive running as a team. And first and foremost, the reason for it is to raise awareness and to raise money for the much needed cause of abolishing child slavery, which is for a charity called Operation Orphan. And it's an enlightening event. I mean, I did this event a couple of years back now, and it's one of the few occasions, or the few running events, that have really hit me in so many different ways. Firstly, the event is ultimately, if you're familiar with the UK geography, then you start in Hull, by the University of Hull, which is where one of the key professors who does a lot of work for preventing child slavery around the world gives a presentation on the evening, and you kind of learn a bit more about the issues that surround child slavery. I mean, we think in the UK alone it's not an issue, but it's an issue everywhere and around the world, and it's quite eye-opening when you get told about some crazy statistics around it, which is truly shocking. And it really opens your eyes about the circumstances that so many children find themselves in. And then you start in Hull the following morning, and you're basically split into two teams. There was 9 of us that did the challenge previously, and basically it's like a relay. So it's a 9-man relay where you're going to be running the distance of Hull to Liverpool to Nottingham, back down to Cambridge. I think it's about 360 odd miles in total. Okay, so it's quite a large distance, but the way it's been done is you're in 2 teams. There was a team of 4 and a team of 5, and ultimately what's going to happen is that you generally run for about half an hour each, so roughly 5k, and then the next person will run, and then the next person will run, and it's like a relay. So there's a couple of people carrier, one RV and a people carrier, that kind of come around you. The support's amazing for the support crew, and ultimately what will happen is you'll do 5k, and then I think it was, I can't remember whether it was 2, I think it was I'm trying to remember whether you did 2-hour slots and then switched over. Yeah, I think you did do 2 hours, or it might have been 4-hour slots. Either way, I'm trying to remember, back in my memory's not serving right. You do half an hour's run, then you'd get the break while your other teammates did half an hour each. So you'd be running basically twice in a 4-hour period of only do an hour over a 4-hour period in half an hour slots. Okay, and then you get 4 hours off, whilst the other team would do the same, and then you'd be 4 hours on again. So that was the kind of format over the course of the days, and obviously the people would go to the RV and rest, and then meet at the handover point for the next group. So there's a lot of planning and logistics that went into it. Now I took it to the extreme when I did it, and I actually tried to run double the distance, so I ran in both teams. So there was 9 of us, the 2 teams of 4, and I doubled up with somebody. So obviously 4 people running, 2 hours worth of running times 2 for each slot, which is 4 hours. I would double up with one other person for 2 of those. But then I'd stay in the people carrier and do exactly the same with the next team, and the next team, and the next team. So it was pretty repetition. I got very little rest, basically. If you were a member of the normal team, you'd have probably run somewhere in the region of about 50 miles over the course of the whole event. But because I did double the teams, my ambition was to run 100 miles over the 3 days. But the biggest challenge was not necessarily the mileage. The mileage over 3 days is pretty vast, but the issue was the lack of rest. I mean, I wasn't getting it. I had about an hour and a half between each run, and I'd have to fuel. Occasionally I could spread it out, that I would take the first run and maybe not run with the same person next, so I'd perhaps get 2 and a bit hours break to fuel and everything. But however you slice and dice it, it was pretty brutal. And I did it. I did 100 miles in 3 days with, I think it was just over 3 to 4 hours sleep over the course of the event, which is pretty brutal. I was pretty delirious at the end of it. But the beauty of it is, as well, is you're not just doing the run, you're part of a team. Morning. And when I say part of a team, this is amazing how a bunch of strangers can form this kind of team, and the camaraderie you build over putting yourself through these challenges, 3-4 o'clock in the morning, having to wake your buddy up who has to go out in the blistering, windy torrential rain and go and do a 5k. You learn a lot about people, and the supportive nature of the team we had was truly epic. And I always said that I knew a couple of the guys there, but I didn't know them very well. But by the time you've been on this event with them, you know them very intimately, sharing your kind of hygiene, because bear in mind, you're not showering either. I mean, it's a pretty grim event. You get 1 shower over 3 days, which is the most amazing shower ever. And it was in a rundown community centre gym. So you can imagine it was pretty grim facilities, but it felt like the best shower you've ever experienced in your life. And but the key thing is you start off as like a group of strangers, and you come back like a band of brothers. Like you've been, I don't want to use the analogy of what military people would do in war, but you've been through some brutal experiences together, and that ties you together as a group of people. And these are people now will always be very near and dear to my heart because of what we've experienced together, that nobody else can truly understand but the people that were involved. So you're running from Hull across to Liverpool, which is the whole width of the country basically, and across the Pennines, so it's quite a lot of elevation there as well, which is challenging. Once you get to Liverpool, we visited a couple of key landmarks that were relevant to understanding the issues of child slavery, and then we ran down southbound to Nottingham, which is a pretty epic journey as well, and that's where the Operation Orphan headquarters are. We did a park run in Nottingham as a team with the support crew and members of the charity as well, which was super cool to kind of raise awareness. And then it's the home straight back down to Cambridge. We say home straight, it's still like a best part of 100 miles. So it's broken down into kind of 3 chunks. You're living off snack food. I think we had 1 meal, during the event. So it's hard to fuel and keep yourself the nutritional levels where they need to be. But if you've not experienced an event like that gives you more than just ultra running. I mean, it is ultra running. It's a bit like the David Goggins challenge, where you're set to run 4 times 4 times 48, I think it is, isn't it? Which basically you're running 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours. It was a bit like that. I mean, I was basically doing it whereby I was running basically just over 5, about 5k, because my pace was dropping significantly over the course of the event. But I was basically doing 5k every kind of 2.5 hours for 72 hours. So it's like, it was almost, it's hard. I think it was harder than probably the David Goggins challenge was, because of and there was a lot of elevation, and it was in, I think we did it in October as well, so the conditions were chilly and fresh as well, so it was a truly epic event. And so it is a different type of ultra challenge, but the key part about it is the team element and the reason behind it. You become so united behind a massive global issue, but you build that united front with a team of people who you didn't know before, but you know intimately by the end of it. So it's a truly amazing event. And I thoroughly recommend looking up, type in the Hope Alive Tour in Google. They do other events, they do some around the world as well, like in areas where they're hugely affected by child slavery. There'll be marathons and events all over the world, and get involved. It's an amazing cause, an amazing charity, and it's a charity where, you know, nearly every penny goes to the cause. And I think, in fact, it's every penny goes to the cause. I think that the charity is funded by outside investment for its running costs. That means that everything that's raised can 100% go to the people who need it the most. And you can even see and get updates on where the money goes, which is truly amazing. So yeah, that's pretty much, hopefully it's given you a good overview of what the event was. It's probably my favourite event that I've done, because it was so moving and meaningful, and the relationships you build in running. Running is quite often very much an individual sport. You have your own individual challenges, you have your own individual agenda, but this was a truly team related thing, and I certainly hope to do it again at some point in the future. And since I've been doing my running vlog, I even suggested that I'd come along and just try and give it as much coverage as I possibly could for the duration, because, you know, doing Facebook Lives and stuff and live streams from the actual event will hopefully capture some of the amazing experience and the reasoning behind it all. So that's pretty much it from me today. Hopefully it's given you a nice overview to a truly remarkable event. It's only a very small event, it's very exclusive. It can only obviously cover for a couple of hundred, so you can only cover, you know, up to 10 people at any given time, and they run it, I think, a couple of times a year, so you can't get a huge number of people to get involved. I think it was about £250, which goes towards the cost and a charitable donation to do it, and then anything you can raise on top of that. But the beauty of it is that anything you're raising on top of that is being raised as part of a team as well. So everything you're doing during the event, you're shouting out, giving the general link to obviously get everybody to fundraise to the same page. So it's an amazing event. Check it out. If you've got any questions on this stuff, drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. I'll make sure, try and get the publishing team to tag in my Hope Alive running buddies. So I'll, if you could just remind me, guys, to message you everybody who's involved, and I'll send you the details, and you can tag everybody in so that they can all chip in and put their experiences on the comment thread to this episode, and hopefully spread the message about a truly remarkable event. So as always, if you've got any bigger questions, I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. And all I have to say is that check out the link in my bio, as you'll be able to now watch, listen or read my content via my soon to be released blog and podcast accompanying the YouTube channel, and it's across all social feeds as well, so you should have no problem finding the content. I'm trying to get as much following as possible, because the Runpreneur vlog was set up to be on a mission to raise £1 million for children's charities by vlog running, or run vlogging, whatever you want to call it, on consecutive days the distance of one lap around the planet, which is 40,075 kilometres. I'll do a minimum of 5k a day, the scale of that, on the basis that I'm running around 50 to 60 kilometres a week, it's going to take 15 years. So it's a truly epic challenge, but plenty of time to raise that huge figure. I'm going to try and raise it for a select number of children's charities that cover a wide range of issues that children face on a daily basis, so that we can try and make as much of a difference in so many areas as part of this challenge. So, and the vlog content was always set up to help people overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, or in my case running, as a release valve to kind of relieve those daily pressures, weekly pressures that we all experience, and relieve them, process them, clear your head, gain clarity and focus so you can move on and progress forwards in your life rather than backwards, which if you let these pressures get on top of you, that can happen. It's like pressure building up in a pipe if you don't have a release valve. And the release valve doesn't have to be exercise. It could be reading, it could be yoga, meditation, whatever. But it needs to be something that positively allows you to clear these emotions from your mind on a daily or weekly basis. If you don't, it's like pressure that builds up in a pipe. And that's pressure in the form of stress, if not cleared regularly, will evolve to overwhelm, which is when you start having too much to do, too much to focus on, and you start freezing and procrastinating, and then it switches over to anxiety, which is where you start panicking, having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and you're into the realms of mental health issues, which is clearly something we want to avoid. Now, I've been there. I've lost multiple businesses because of this. I've lost multiple business partners because of my inability to manage these emotions, and I've almost been bankrupt. So from a business perspective, I've almost been rock bottom because of this. And there's no coincidence that since I've been doing this running vlog, that in the past 9 to 10 months I've made more progress than I have done in the previous 4 years. So there's enough social proof there to evidence this stuff works. And my pledge to you is that if you are somebody who's struggling with this, whether it's business related or personal life related, doesn't matter, drop me a message. There's no catch here at all. We'll jump on a quick call and I'll give you a few hints and tips of things that I've integrated into my life that I know are transferable to others, and will hopefully give you a roadmap to get you back onto the right path. And help is often free, but people don't realise that. You just have to ask, and it's often easier asking a stranger than somebody who's nearest and dearest. So don't be stubborn. And I always said that if the vlog just helps one person or saves one business, it's been 1,000,000% worthwhile, let alone the challenge that we're part of, raising £1 million for children's charities, which is the true purpose of what we're trying to achieve. So all that's left to say is, if you like this episode, give it a like, comment and a subscribe. If you want to see similar content, check out the playlists. They should be available on the podcast, blog and YouTube channel, and you can watch similar content. And all that's left to say is, as always, stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow.